So now we're ready to move on to the second piece, the emotional control piece. And this is
Mhm.
the really powerful one. So what I'd like you to do, and I know you got this big project coming up, so think of something where that you like to do or would like to do better, where an emotion either stops you or gets in your way. And if it can be related to concerns about this project, even better.
So something I want to do better, but the emotion gets in the way that would not let me progress.
Yeah,
Let me try to think of what that is. Okay,
got
got it.
something. Okay, okay. Tell me like one at most one or two sentences about so I have some idea what we're talking about.
It's being able to be more bold and more aggressive in reaching out to potential investors, but
Okay.
get held back by perhaps my self-image that perhaps I am not good enough.
Ah, okay. Okay. So is that like a fear of being rejected, that kind of thing? Or what's the underlying what's the underlying emotion?
It's not being, yes, it is the emotional why is the fear of being rejected.
Right.
And
Okay.
the underlying reason for that fear is that perhaps that I need a certain financial resources to back it up,
Yeah.
and I might not have what the those people are looking for of my skin in the game, the amount of
Right.
that I need to put in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's let's just call it fear.
Hmm.
And it's fear of reaching out,
Hmm.
of approaching, because if you were an adolescent asking for your first date or first
Hmm.
few dates, it would be the same kind of thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. That's it.
Am I
Now
good?
it's
Am I good enough? Really,
yeah,
that's what
it's
it is. What it
this is
comes down to.
yeah, this is just a different context for the same
Hmm.
kind. Emotionally, it's
Hmm.
either identical or awfully close.
Hmm.
Okay, so now can you access that fear, that emotion? Can you actually feel it? Imagine that you're um, uh, in a room and about to walk into this person's office who's a potential investor,
Hmm.
or you're already there and you're about to make your pitch.
Hmm.
Feel that fear. So the important thing here is feel it enough so that you start to feel the body sensations.
Hmm.
So step into that fear. Imagine you're there right now.
Hmm.
And now, as you do that, where in your body do you feel the most intense sensation?
It's in my head. It's the tightening sensation around my temple,
Okay.
and then feel like something is pulling back my ear from behind.
Ah,
It's the overall tension that happen around this
right,
part of the head. It just
right.
basically looks like suddenly everything starts to tighten up, and my
Okay.
ears are moving back, and my temple is being pulled
Oh,
back.
okay.
And kind of
Okay.
thing.
So if somebody were to grab a hold of your hair in the back and like pull it all together, that would do the
It's
same kind of
more
thing?
like someone grabbed me like that and pull back, but not the back of my head, but it's
Oh,
grabbed me by the side of my head and pull back.
okay, okay,
Okay.
okay, good. Now, any sensations anywhere else in your body?
It's the slightly tightening of my stomach muscle again.
Okay.
Same place, same place.
Ah, okay, okay. All right. Um, Now, are those two sensations connected in some way? You probably don't know, but if you had
Oh
to
no,
guess, what would you guess?
it probably, yeah,
Okay,
because it happened at the same time,
right.
right?
Okay, okay, okay. So they're connected, but you're not sure how. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, I'm going to ask you some weird questions.
Mm-hmm.
If that sensation had a color, what color would it be?
Yellow.
A yellow. Okay. Um, if that sensation had a size, how would you describe its size?
That's a hard one.
Could it be, the size of a pea, the size of a watermelon, the size of planet Earth? If it had a size, what would you use to describe the
I
size?
cannot put my finger on it, but if I have to, I would say size of a soccer ball.
Size of a soccer ball. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we have this yellow soccer ball sized thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
The two are not related. It's kind of like I see a yellow color, and then
yeah.
I see a soccer ball, but I do not relate. It's not a yellow soccer ball. Okay, it's the two
Oh,
are disjointed.
oh, okay. So it's a yellow.
Color that
Okay.
flashes.
Ah, now when we have sensations, sometimes sensations have a very distinct boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Like this cup has a
Mm-hmm.
very distinct boundary to it.
Mm-hmm.
That out here, it's not cup.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of that surface, it's cup.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get sensations that have that kind of boundary.
Okay.
Sometimes we get sensations that are, call it more like a tennis ball. You know how a tennis ball has this fuzzy edge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, well, it's kind of round shaped, but it's not a distinct boundary. It fades off quickly, but it's not distinct. And the other extreme of that is something like when you look at a street light in a foggy night,
Mm-hmm.
there's this bright light in the center, and then this glow around it that just keeps getting dimmer and dimmer the further away you go, but there is no boundary. It just
Mm-hmm.
gets dimmer and dimmer.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think of this sensation, what kind of a boundary does it have?
One picture comes to my mind is
Uh-huh.
it's like I'm wearing a yellow helmet and the helmet is tightening on me.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Like a yellow motorcycle helmet, those the open face
Got it. Got it.
open face motorcycle helmet, and looks like it just started to string on me.
Ah, okay. 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 So in that sense, the sensation has a fairly well-defined boundary.
When I think of it,
Yeah,
when I just try to logically think of it,
right,
that's what it appears.
right. Okay, okay. Now,
In fact, I cannot relate the yellow color to the helmet. When I think of the helmet, I think of a brown color helmet. But when I think of fear, I just see yellow.
ah,
So I
that's
still do not relate a yellow helmet.
okay,
Okay, it's a
okay,
helmet that tightening. And then when I think of that fear, I see yellow color. My imagination become maybe the background of the
right.
picture in my head becomes yellow.
Okay, okay. All right. Now, is there what about weight? Sometimes these sensations are like they're just this terrible burden that's pushing us down. And sometimes the sensation is lifting us up. Uh, like a helium balloon. Sometimes it's like a boulder pushing us down,
Hmm.
and sometimes weight has no meaning at all. It's just a sensation.
That's a sensation. I don't feel any weight.
There's no weight, no
And
lifting up, no pushing down.
the helmet, it does not weigh any more than the headphone I have on right now.
Right. Okay. Um, temperature. Is there any sense of hot, warm, neutral, cool, cold?
Not aware of that.
Yeah.
It's some kind of a. I just feel the tension. I would try to say there's got a little bit chill feeling, but it's not very
Okay.
pronounced.
Okay.
Not very pronounced.
A
So
mild
maybe not.
cool.
Just say,
Yeah.
yeah, it's mild to or none.
Slightly cooler than neutral.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
A
Um,
degree or two.
right. Now, let me ask a different question.
Mhm.
Um, have you approached an investor comfortably yet?
We have approached a few right now,
Okay.
but we have not come across a situation that triggered my fear yet.
Okay. So you have talked to investors who are,
Mhm.
and seriously, I gather.
More of in more of a preliminary basis. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
just more like exploratory type of
Got it.
conversation to
Got it.
try to gauge
So,
your level of
yeah.
interest.
So where in the process are you expecting this fear to show up?
Is that when we actually go down to negotiate the dollar value and the term.
Okay. Okay. So talking in general terms and assessing interest, that's no big deal.
Not a big deal.
Okay. Now, um, in other contexts, oh, just for the hell of it, for completeness,
Hmm.
because we made this analogy at the beginning of our
Right.
conversation. Um, back in your adolescent years, when you would ask uh, timorously a woman out for a date, I guess it
Hmm.
was a girl then, um,
Hmm.
did you have any sensations, anything like this?
It's again is the usual tightening of of my temple and around. It just feels like someone's pulling my ears,
Okay,
touching my ears back.
okay, okay. So you did have this.
Yes.
Um, back then, just talking about dating
Hmm.
or proposing, did you have situations where you were able to ask without that happening, or ask with it just so mild it was irrelevant?
It might have. I probably have,
Hmm.
but I cannot recall any of that particular instance because the more fearful one tend to stick in your head. The easy ones you
Yes,
tend to forget.
right. Yes, we
Okay,
remember all the shit.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. The easy one is because so easy and it's just like
Right.
nothing, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that was
Mhm.
easy.
Mhm.
Um, okay. Okay. Uh, all right. So, is there any movement inside this sensation? Because there's two kinds of ways that sensations can move.
Mhm.
One way is that they move around on our body from one place to another.
Mhm.
And the other way is that there is movement within the sensation. Like, for example, pressure on your head could
Mhm.
be like if you imagine fingers
Mhm.
on your head, or even someone pulling. They could
Mhm.
pull a little bit on one side and then a little bit another, or squeeze the fingers or something like that, that could create a sense of movement. Any sense of movement at all.
Not sense of movement, it's just a variation in intensity. In fact, that I remember once that someone told me that I was in a very nervous situation. Someone told me my ears were actually moving.
Fascinating.
My ears were
Okay.
actually moving because
Okay.
the muscle behind it was holding it back.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. 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 So you're manifesting this fear in a most interesting way. All right. Now, so we've got boundary, we've got color, we've got weight, we've got, oh, well, you've told me about size and shape.
Hmm.
Um, is there anything else that you can think of that makes this unusual or interesting?
Not really. It's the fact that it had manifest into actual muscle movement in my head,
Yeah,
or park my
right,
head, park my
right.
skull, to
Okay.
the point that actually physically pull my ears back.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, let's play with this a little bit.
Okay.
Find out what happens. We'll twist the dials and move the sliders and see what
Okay.
happens. Now, well, let's play with location first,
Hmm.
and just to explore. Um, can you imagine this same kind of pressure being applied to your upper back? Same kind of sensation, only instead of on your head, it's on your upper back.
None that I am aware of. I mean, I have tightness in my shoulder for lifting things, for doing things, and for slouching and bad postures and
Right.
things like that.
Oh,
But
I'm not, yeah,
I have
I'm
not
not
related
asking,
that.
yeah, I'm not asking you if you have experienced it.
Hmm.
I'm asking you to create it.
Repeat
In
that
other
question
words,
again.
take take the sensation that you're feeling right
Hmm.
now around your head from your temples
Hmm.
to the back
Hmm.
and move it down to your upper back and notice what happens.
Nothing. All I can feel is I start taking deep breaths, but nothing around my back. I just feel that I breathe deeper,
Yeah.
and I open my chest more.
Okay. Because that's what, if you were sort of constricting the backside of your torso, that would
Hmm.
open the front side.
Cannot relate to that.
Okay.
It's more like, yeah, it's just fact that if I try to imagine that stress move down,
Yeah.
it does not, I do not feel anything in my back, but all I realize is that my chest open up and I breathe deeper. It
Okay.
affects the front, not the back.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
All right. Now, okay. So, but when you did that, the you took the tension away from your head and
Hmm.
moved it. So while you were doing that, it wasn't there on your head.
No, it moved to it transformed. It might be it bypassed that and went, but
Uh-huh.
I don't feel any
Right.
feeling of it passing through. It went
Ah,
from here to
okay.
here
So
to
it
here.
jumped.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Let's be a little more subtle with this
Okay.
and uh, and we're playing here. This is like,
Okay.
we're like kids in a sandbox exploring
Okay.
to find out, oh, what does this do? So see if you can move it just, I don't know, a couple of inches down.
Okay.
Okay, and what was that like?
Just feel a little of tiredness in the back of my neck.
Yeah,
Okay, and it stops there.
okay, okay. And was there any pulling like against your cheeks or anything like that?
No, it just my the back of my neck seems to have tightened up a bit
Okay,
and create a sensation of tiredness. I can call it.
okay, okay. Now, okay. Now what I want you to do next is, that was when you moved it. Well, that was actually more than a couple of inches, because from the,
Okay.
that's probably like that, like 6
Yeah, I
inches.
mean, it basically went from here to down here. So
Okay.
yeah, I
So
mean, in two directions down.
what we want to explore is subtle movements, movements that make just a little difference. So imagine that the location of this tension moves down just a little bit, maybe half an inch, no more,
Okay.
but it's definitely moved down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what changed?
Only I don't know whether it is real or just my imagination, or I'm forcing myself to
Yeah,
think
it
that
doesn't
way.
matter.
Okay, it looks like it's gone down to halfway between the two,
Yeah.
which is more like the back of my head
Okay.
in here. Okay.
And how does that affect what's happening in your belly?
I don't feel any connection, but because as I could try to concentrate on how I feel in there, I
Yeah.
kind of ignore what happened in my belly.
Okay.
So
Okay. So it doesn't
so
seem,
that sensation,
doesn't, yeah, moving that down doesn't seem to have any effect on your belly. Okay.
no, no.
So with the same sensation in your belly, and this sensation moved down a little bit on
Hmm.
your head, what does that, what changes about your experience of the emotion?
Not quite understand what you're trying to
Okay.
say.
Well, these sensations, the sensation of tension here on your
Hmm.
head, and the sensation of tension across your upper belly,
Hmm.
that's the fear.
Hmm.
Now, what we're doing is we're tweaking things, and
Hmm.
we want to find out, okay, what kind of tweaks have an impact on the emotion? Some may make it stronger, some may make it weaker. And so, did that have any impact on the emotion, on your experience of the emotion?
It seemed by moving it I don't know whether this is correct. This is true or not, but seems like you have lessened
Okay, okay. Now,
because now I'm concentrating on something different.
yeah,
I've taken my attention away from that somehow.
right. Yeah, that's cool. That's normal. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we found out it's kind of complicated moving the location of the head tension.
Hmm.
So let's play with a different parameter,
Hmm.
because the head tension has got a certain force associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's squeezing gently, it's squeezing tightly. So um, take it and make it squeeze like this. It's not painful, is it?
No, no,
Okay, okay, just checking.
no.
Um, so make it squeeze, I don't know, 10 or 20% stronger. And notice what happens. So go ahead and do that.
So repeat the first part before it moves and make
Yeah,
it
yeah.
stronger.
Put it back where it was and just
Mm-hmm.
make the squeezing 10 or 20% stronger, somewhere in that range. Not a lot, just a little bit.
And the only thing I noticed is my heart rate's gone up a little bit.
Your heart rate's gone up, and did it change your experience of the emotion?
Feel a bit stronger.
It's stronger. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that we've found that tweaking it this way makes it stronger, let's find out if easing it makes it lighter. So take and make it 20% less tension.
Yeah, it feels lighter. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And your experience of the emotion is not as, if we consider the emotion that's something that's getting in your way, stopping you, that its stoppingness has gone down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Great. Um, let's play with another parameter. You imagine this as like a full helmet that was squeezing.
Okay.
Imagine it's changed so that it's just instead of like a full helmet, because now was the pressure, was there any tension on the top of your head?
It's more like on the side.
Just
On
on
the
the
side,
side?
the squeeze my temple and squeeze the back of my head. Just squeeze the side of my head.
Okay, okay. Um, imagine that so there's like almost a band
Kind of, yeah.
there. Okay. So imagine that band getting narrower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a little bit narrower.
Mm-hmm.
And does that have an impact? Does that make any shift in your experience of the emotion?
Nothing that is not noticeable.
Not noticeable. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We're tweaking the dials, and it's
Okay.
whatever dial we can think of to tweak. Let's try it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do something weird.
Okay.
Um, imagine that the pulling, the tension, is only on the left side.
Okay. Kind of feel kind of weird, but it's
Yeah,
not
but
easy to imagine because it's not used to that and never.
okay. Well, imagine that it's noticeably stronger on the left side than the right side.
Okay. Okay.
Does that have any impact on your experience of the emotion?
It might have lightened a little bit because it takes my attention away from my
Right.
fear.
Yeah.
But now I'm paying attention to the actual physical aspect of it rather than fear that triggered that.
Right. Okay. Okay. So the biggest change we've noticed so far is lightening it.
Mhm.
So with this helmet image, let's use that actual image.
Mhm.
Take the helmet, and right now it feels like it's pulling, pressing,
Mhm. Mhm.
because the helmet's a little bit too small
Mhm.
or the strap is too tight.
Okay.
So imagine that let's say it's, you're I don't know what hat size you wear, let's say a 7.5 or something, and imagine somebody has uh, magically expanded this to a 9, that it's looser, that the helmet's still there.
Mhm.
There's a strap under your chin that keeps it from falling off, but it's not squeezing anymore.
Mhm.
And how does that shift your experience of the emotion?
It feel relief
Okay,
because the pressure, the tension's gone.
right. Okay. Um, Imagine, I want you to pick a situation in the past
Okay.
where you have felt either this exact fear or one very close. You
Mhm.
got it? Okay.
Mhm.
Now, I want you to imagine going through that, like replay it, relive it,
Mhm.
but with a helmet that's a size bigger so there's no squeezing. And notice how you can behave differently.
Mhm.
Actually make up a little screenplay for
Mhm.
yourself and
Yeah.
actually be the actor and play it out.
Yeah.
Really like it was real.
Well, I mean, right away, I feel the pressure's gone, and I feel more confident.
Yeah,
I can actually relate to some real life experience, some bad experience, and then I just imagine right at that moment, try to relive that moment have been traumatizing, and I could feel the tension build up in my head, and then if that tension is gone, the fear and the uncertainty seems to go on
right.
with it.
Okay. Okay. So um, let's s- take pick 3 specific moments from your past
Hmm. Hmm.
where you've had this fear, um, and step into them and relive them. Only as soon as you start noticing the fear, just pop the helmet to a larger size. Do them one at
Hmm.
a time and actually experience. And what you should be able to notice, not only do you feel different, but what you do is different. It's like it's like you've got a time machine and you can go back with
Hmm.
a bigger
Hmm.
helmet. What would you do differently in that situation and play out that scene?
Well, I mean, if I know that if I can control the tension in my muscle to release
Yeah,
the tension, then I will um, work on, I will um, intentionally or I will consciously try to make that kind of tension go away by whatever mean. And
right,
then that will release myself from the fear at that moment and make myself feel
right,
more confident to deal with the
right.
situation.
Okay. Now, what I'm asking you to do is to take away the if, to take
Hmm.
away the would, and change it to uh, when and I do. So go back, and I
Hmm.
mean, you're imagining this right now.
Yeah, I'm going
I
back
want
to the past
yeah,
through the time tunnel. Yeah.
right, to actually live it. to go back and actually go through 3 different situations with that larger sized helmet.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And each of those scenes in the past had an outcome, probably an
Mhm.
outcome that you weren't happy about.
No.
Okay. Now, when you just relived them, what was the outcome like?
That I will feel more confident and more bold to confront the situation
Well,
instead of just to accept it and not being able to do anything to fight back.
okay. Now you used I will, which is the
Hmm.
future that hasn't happened.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. When you lived those situations in your mind just now,
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
was the outcome?
The outcome, the outcome, say, is that I would stand taller. I would be more bold to confront the situation and feel more confident to confront the situation.
Okay. But get, um, you're still using would,
Okay.
which tells me that your experience of going through that scene isn't yet vivid enough for you to believe it.
Hmm.
So I don't want you to say, I don't want you to experience this like you were watching a movie.
Hmm.
Because when you're watching a movie, you could say, wow, if I could do what that guy is doing, the outcome would be great. I want you to actually do it. I mean, it's obviously it's in your imagination, but I
Hmm.
want you to make it real enough, because when we make it real enough, our imagination, our minds can't tell the difference.
Hmm.
I want you to, and you have done things confidently, smoothly, easily without that helmet on. So you
Hmm.
know what that's like,
Hmm.
right? Okay. I want you to take those those same 3 situations that you chose, go back to them one at a time, and either pop the helmet bigger or just take it off
Hmm.
and replay those scenes with the you that happens with that helmet off.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and do that now.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, the fear goes away.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So at least when you're working with the past, you can make the fear go away.
Hmm.
You have control over it.
Hmm.
And when you made the fear go away in those
Hmm.
situations, what happened that was different?
Is that this could be a stretch, but what I could come up with is that I will not let that fear bother me again
Okay,
moving forward.
wait a minute. You're jumping
That's a
into
bit
the
of a
future.
stretch. Yeah, that's a
You're
bit of a
jumping into the
stretch. Yeah.
future. I
Yeah.
want you to stay with, now you just re-experienced 3
Hmm.
events that happened once in your past, once in your, let's call it your distant past, and once in your immediate past just a couple of minutes ago. I want you to tell me what happened in the immediate past, the one that was just a couple of minutes ago. Tell me about what you actually did and felt replaying that scene.
Well, as I say, I felt the fear's gone away, and I
Right?
feel that I feel I can face the fear without have to cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And what was the outcome of the interaction? This was an interaction with another person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what was the outcome?
The outcome is that I feel more confident and no longer doubt myself.
Okay,
Doubt myself.
in the
No
first
longer
one,
or less.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the first one, did you get what you wanted?
Which first one?
The
Oh,
first
the
of the
first experience.
three that you just redid.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, if I were to rewind it back and relive that, I would have achieved what I want. I would have,
Okay,
uh, at the very least, would have confronted the situation
okay. But in your
with.
imagination, when you
Mm-hmm.
just did it a few minutes ago,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in that imagination, did you
Yeah.
get what you wanted?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
I confront the situation rather than just accept it.
Right. Okay, great. And in the second one, did you get what you wanted?
Yes. Uh, to a certain extent, okay, because that was the more traumatizing experience,
Yeah.
and I would not know what the outcome would actually be, but I would handle it. I say I would again, then I'm saying
Okay.
that I'm handling it differently.
Right.
Whatever the outcome turned out to be, but the way I handle it is being
Okay.
different.
So when you imagined the second one,
Mm-hmm.
did you play it through until there was an outcome?
No, I played far enough. Played far enough that I know how I feel.
Okay. All right.
Whatever the outcome is, whatever that is, it doesn't really matter. Is the way I feel about the situation is different.
Perfect. Perfect. Because that's you're facing it,
Mm-hmm.
to face
Mm-hmm.
unafraid the plans that we've made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the third one, did you get what you wanted?
Yes, I did. I managed to get the message across without afraid of what kind of response I get.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, something that you already know this intellectually. I'm going to remind you emotionally about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because we're confident and capable doesn't mean we always get what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And some of this stuff involves a skill. Some of it's just projecting our presence. Because especially in an interaction with an investor, if you're uncertain what the investor is buying is their gut feeling of your feeling about whether you can do it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're buying into.
Yes.
That's what they're buying. And if
Mm-hmm.
you go in feeling unconfident, they're going to know it.
Yes.
And they don't want to buy a lack of
No.
confidence. They want to
No.
know you, even if you're wrong, they're willing to take a risk that you might be wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing that they're buying is your confidence.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, dude, take the helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, um, what I want you to do is to go through a sequence of steps and to do it again as vividly as you can
Okay.
to imagine you're meeting with an investor. You're down to where you're talking dollars
Mm-hmm.
and asking for their signature,
Mm-hmm.
asking for the check, or negotiating. Okay, there'll be this much at this round and this much at the next round, and so on, down to the details.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there. Now, what I want you to do is to make up 5 different scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
different different people, but it's the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The instant you feel that fear coming up, that helmet, that squeeze, pop the helmet off. Boop,
Mm-hmm.
gone. And run it through. So present, and you're probably, even with utter confidence, you're probably going to present your idea to 20 different people
Mm-hmm.
before you get 4 or 5 to say, I like that. So there's going to be a lot of people say no matter
Mm-hmm.
how confident you are.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're with that helmet on, nobody's going to say yes. So
Mm-hmm.
what I want you to practice is getting into that situation and popping the helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And practice it, and then kind of relax and go out for a nice, accelerate the time period, but go out for a nice relaxed dinner or a beer or whatever you do to relax, and then go on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Do that 5 times. And the key is the instant you become aware of that tension,
Tightening, yeah.
pop the helmet off.
Just be aware of what triggered the fear and
Well, no,
throw that out. Yeah.
you don't really care what triggers the fear,
Mm-hmm.
but as soon as you feel it, take the helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So do that 5 times. Make it as real as you can.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you felt that fear on the first of those 5,
Mm-hmm.
there's a scale that we have where we say 0 means sensation. What sensation? I didn't feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 means, oh my God, this is so intense, I can't even tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first round, or the first time you brought up this fear, how strong was it on that 0 to 10 scale?
Probably about, because now I understand what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I know how to deal with it. So what would have been a 10 now is like a 5, the first round.
But originally it was a 10.
Yes.
Okay. And now it's a 5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it when you take the helmet off?
It goes down to about a 3 or 2, the first round, that is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at that too. I want to get it to a 0.
No, what I'm trying to say is, for each time I imagine the scenario,
Yeah.
it goes down lower.
Right.
So after I practice it about 5 times,
Yeah.
the 5th one actually goes down to 0.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Little practice.
Right.
So
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Wonderful. So if you had an appointment with an investor tomorrow
mm-hmm.
or later this afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
imagine you've got one.
Mm-hmm.
2 o'clock, you're supposed to be there, ready to
Mm-hmm.
present. You know
Mm-hmm.
what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
The fact that the minute I feel the fear comes on, and consciously ditch it.
Yeah.
And knowing that I had done it in my imagination, I can bring it to 0.
Yeah.
Just need to practice in my head. Just need to practice it so that I know how to bring it down to 0, not 2,
Right.
not 3, but down to 0.
Yeah. Okay. So you can do that. Do it 5 times. 5
Mhm.
new investors.